let's take a look at it all. Is Diablo IV coming? Thank you, Les Moo. That's a good question. All right. Diablo IV date announced at the Game Awards. Blizzard's finally announced release date, and Halsey was there too. Here's the cinematic. Let's watch it. I do love their cinematic so much. I mean, look how good that looks. Jesus. Yo, this is gorgeous.
There we fight true in His holy name.
I haven't seen this. This is my first look.
Blessed be the light.
Bro, is she just going out there? Yeah. That is some sick coordination, man. Oh, look at those wings.
I have returned to hell for you.
What? God, that was good. 6/6/23.
Wow, Diablo.
All right, yeah.
Happy Friday. IO doll, IO doll, IO doll.
Thank
IO
you,
doll.
Juicy Jambalaya. 6/23. 6/6 times 3. 666. Yeah, close there. That's very close. All right, let's find other good stuff. I want like the latest gameplay pieces. Let me get this over here. Once you beat the game, you get to play as Brunsky. That's it. That's how it is. Thank you, the
The
soul.
Soul XX gifted a tier 1 sub to Zero Lincoln Zero.
Let's just go to the Diablo 4 right here. They've got the pre-purchase available, which comes with early access to the open beta. That's the official release trailer. Who starts with a year? Perfect. I mean, the game is going to look very similar to this. So this is what you should expect right here. And again, one thing I hate, this text. Ugh, God, I hate the text so much. I always hated that in Diablo 3, and that got copied over to D4. That's like, please. Yeah, that's just the font. Sorry, the font. Whee.
Love the D2 content. Been playing since 2000.
That's just cool. That's cinematic trailer. R.M. Wagner, thank you. Okay, that's all they got there. I want to see the all the stuff that they gave the journalist. Diablo IV press kit. Well, the press kit's the whole thing they sent out. Password is invalid. Oh.
Move.
It was invalid. I need to do this in a better screen. Hold on, let me just... We'll do this really fast. You can turn off the damage numbers. Yeah, that's what I heard. Thanks, Max Power. Appreciate that.
Join my army of the dead.
Maybe Tehi will give us the option to not see the hit numbers and we can replace them with IDK. Pow, splat, swoosh.
Swoosh. Pow, splat. Alright, I'm downloading some files really fast. Chinovsky. Hi, boo. I mean, it's numbers in the game, but some people don't like numbers in a game, you know? Like, it really is, the look of it is very different. So having it be a toggle is very nice. Yeah, this might be a little bit to download. Is this... Which press kit is this from? Okay, cancel that. My goodness. How big is this thing? Alright, we'll just do this and go here. So this is right here. Thank you, Uber. This is very like start, right? This is prologue right here. You can hide the... I'm pretty sure you can customize that to hide it there.
Everywhere. Fangs in the dark.
Ah! He bit me!
Careful! He's a wild one.
What's it to you?
Oswin, hush! I'm sorry, Wanderer. You've...
Yeah, the ominous nature is quite good, you know. I think there's I'm pretty sure we're allowed to stream this, right? This is all press kit stuff. God, I really hope I'm not going to get banned for I'm pretty sure this is press kit that everybody was using. So, I love the tone. Are you guys just saying I can stream it just to get me in trouble? Is that what's happening? I imagine press kit means you're good to go.
I.O. doll.
Okay. Devs just told you've seen this footage on YouTube reviews. Perfect. We're gonna watch all the footage then. Thank you, Farrell. Yeah. So, I mean, the look of it is fantastic. I mean, this looks like a dang like horror movie right here. I do think it's a little gray at some places. Like playing through it at some points, I'm like, all right, you can have a little bit less gray overtone, but overall still very,
Come at a difficult time.
you know,
This
scary.
madman just stumbled into town and started causing trouble.
Demons spilling from the ruins. Kill us all. Kill us
Still
all.
hate the font.
Ruins?
It's my
What is
12th
he
month
talking
anniversary.
about?
Happy Diablo 4.
Come, I'll explain.
The game is not just looks. Looks are actually a very not important part, I would almost say. There are many games that look meh, but are amazing. So, oh my god, moving so slow. Walking with NPC.
Us from whatever is out there? We have nowhere else to turn.
No one should live in fear. I will cleanse the old ruins of evil.
Truly? Oh, thank you.
I don't believe you can adjust the camera angle. You can probably like zoom in and out a little bit. Alright. That's Prologue. Let's go for this one. Okay, so there's a health shrine. Oops. So that's a little health shrine right there. Has the interact. So that was something that you know, you see with a lot of little things right there. You walk up and they just have the little like interact right there. Which some of it, I mean, again, look how gorgeous this like walkthrough though is right here. The like chandeliers and things. I mean, it's very pretty. But you can see what I mean about a little overly gray, right? Or a little overly fogged, maybe. Ooh, look at that. Got the crack right there. I guess that's vulnerable. Yeah, the health globes are also a little... I mean, even here, just like looking at this scene, I can't even like see my character. Swills Mazda. Here I am. But there's like so many layers of fog and red. That yeah, you have potions. You can see right here, you're 5 out of 5 on health potions. So it is like Diablo 3 in that you just push the Q button and then a health potion goes on cooldown. But then you get these which replenish your potion charges. So these are like healing potions that have dropped. And then I don't think there's any potions. Yeah, there's not any potions for like your secondary stuff, because this is just from like builder spender, which again, not my favorite like style, right? Is that called Fury? It differs for every character what their secondary thing is. They moved around a lot in that fight, but I honestly think they could have just face tanked it. Yeah, it's just resources, you know? But early on, and maybe this is not on veteran mode or whatever. So yeah, you can only hold, you can see like 5 health potions right here, so he can't pick up the rest of those potions on the ground. This is on journalist mode, yeah, exactly. But I did feel that it was simple for me as well, even on harder mode. Here's going through the presets, being able to customize characters. Actually, it's a lot of skin tones. Holy cow. Because there's a scroll on that. I want them to scroll. Only 11 different hairstyles there. Aw, you can't give her a beard? You can only change the eyebrows? Boo. Just the like demo piece here. I mean, the characters look cool. The characters look cool. The hair looks pretty solid. And you get to put on some sick markings. Again, look-wise, for the most part, I think it's a little dark, but not in like the great way of dark, but like, you know, like kind of like murky, like I showed there before. It was hard to see your character because it was foggy, but like on top of your character and things. Not enough contrast all the time. But otherwise looks really solid. Character customization, pretty sick. Ripped mommy right there. Okay, that's sick. I like the makeup. I'd have to look more in that. Are you the only one who hates the menus and interface in general? No. So I actually agree with you in that I really don't like, and I think part of it goes to the font I think really plays a large piece for me, which I really hope there's more. But the UI feels very Diablo 3, and the font and a lot of the pieces, it's so generic looking that it really does put me off in a way. It's like a default Microsoft font. Yeah, like Arial and caps lock. Comics. I don't know. But even like the Diablo font, whatever thing, it's like made so pretty that it doesn't have a good look. I really just, God, I want them to change it. Because there's even like if we go to like Diablo fonts, whatever things, like even this I don't really like, you know? This is like so perfectly spaced and whatever things. It doesn't have the look that it needs, you know? It's the Carbot Diablo font, exactly. You know? Whereas like I really love this. Like and I'm not just saying it because Diablo 2 and I just love Diablo 2. But there's a nice unevenness to it in a way that makes it, you know, it's legible but also stylish. Things are a little offset sometimes and whatever things, and I just think I really hope there's a font customization, but it even goes a little bit to the UI again of like looking at an item like this. Hold on, let me pull something up for everybody. And looking at an item like this. Obviously, this is very zoomed in, so it's a little blurry. But yeah, I mean, it's a trash belt. Ignore it. Yes, the 5s and 6s were messy, and that got fixed in D2R. But I feel like the style, like, let me go Diablo 2 resurrected items, images. And like it did pretty it up. I still kind of like the older style more, to be honest. But you know, it's like if you want to have a cleaner font, but like I don't like the look of like Bone Snap Mall near as much. You know. And the zeros are really, really wide. It's just like so much spacing on 300%. Look how long that is. It's like too big for me. But yeah, honestly, I think the zeros are probably my biggest issue with the font and the spacing. Look at the space between every single letter. Yeah, they like tried to make items look nice, but did too much work. There's no roughness whatsoever to it at all. And that happened in D2R as well. I felt some of the roughness of the item got removed and it got too pretty. But at least it still kind of keeps a little bit. But, you know, oops, sorry. I just deleted you guys. No. Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. All right, hold on. Shoot. I just got rid of chat. I can criticize whatever I want to criticize. Okay. Okay, perfect. Now chat's back. So, yeah, just like an item here in Diablo 4 versus an item in Diablo 2. I still, and right now we're just looking at the font and like perfect beauty of it. This is just like too pretty, but again, the weapon is like kind of just off to the side, whatever. Everything's doing the same thing, whatever things. And then D2R kind of goes for that similar font with like the big zero with the cants. I just like this font so much better. I just think this looks so much better for an item. This actually has like a feel to it. Whereas this is like I'm playing a mobile game. So, yeah, I'm nitpicking on this part. I'm saying some of the things look good, some of the things look bad, whatever it is.
Speaking of items, I happened to watch your Rogue Diablo 1 play, and I thought items in that play looked so good.
Truth. Yeah, we can go Diablo 1 items. No, I need to have somebody. I mean, the items do look great. I just want to see it with like someone hovering over. Let's just do like Wind Force. No. God. I mean, yeah, Diablo 1 items look gorgeous. Why did that take me there? That's not at all what I copied. Copy image address. It's such a like artistic style. Thoughts on people saying D4 feels like the sequel to D2? I don't think that's true. We'll have to play more of the game to get anything of that level of whatever, you know. I also love the simplicity over here. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, like even an item over here I think looks cooler than an item over here. Over here, again, it's like hiding it up in the corner. It's just like hidden. And I dislike, and again, this is one of the biggest things that I'm like gonna like harp on and crap on, because this is probably one of my biggest peeves currently with the game is the look of items in this. It's very taken exactly from D3, and I just, you know, it's like I'm reading a Word document that they've got it like bulleted out, you know. Everything is perfectly left aligned with bullet marks and all of this, and I really dislike that look. It's a clear presentation of data, which again, if I was trying to give a presentation to my boss at a company, the right side is the best way to give that presentation. If I'm playing a video game, it just looks better over here. That's it. I mean, even go to another random game here. Like, even this has a little more style in it. You know, when you go to like random Breath of the Wild things. I just dislike this. It's not a great example, but it's still one that, you know, has something. Now, when we dive further, and again, this is my biggest complaint of these pieces. When we dive further into the actual weapons, I do think a lot of the affixes are kind of strange or not.
Join my army of the dead.
100% an investor gave the idea and they couldn't go back from it. Only a suitcase tie guy can come out with this kind of design.
You know, 850 weapon attack, 1305 weapon attack. So they are going to the Diablo 3 style, I believe, where you have, you know, even if you do your wand attack, then this is weapon attack added, right? There's not like, you know, again, Diablo 2 has a wand and you hit with it, but that's just its physical damage, but then you have your own magic damage for a spell that's based on the spell. No, this is your weapon attack applies to all that stuff. But 4% damage to immobilized enemies. There's a lot of the things that are like if then that, and I feel like in their affixes, and it makes me a little bit like meh on some of the items. That's just some of the things, you know, that I felt like it's like too confusing where I didn't enjoy that piece. But all right, we'll keep watching. Look at some of these things. 21 life regen feels D3 high as well. Yeah, I mean that's cool. That looks really good. Oh my gosh. There is emo sorcerer, yeah. I don't know what I was gonna say with that. I lost my thought. Yennefer. Yeah, I'm just like, next to this, I want like a font that isn't that. You know, like an item when I like hover over. It's like, that looks, you know, so good. Like all of the pieces of whatever. And then you get like this next to it. I'm like, this doesn't like fit. Like this looks so good. Oops. That's customizing body type. Yeah, we'll see with the numbers. But they definitely take a lot of, and this is where when, you know, someone like Riker says, it's the successor to D2 we never had. I'm like, there really is a lot more taken from D3 than from D2. Now, obviously, not everything is taken from D3. First off, it looks much, much better than Diablo 3. But when you go into something deep like the itemization and stuff, it's like you've got weapon attack. You've got the same look and style of all of that. You've got item power on things and whatnot. Like it still kind of has that same. I think we watched this one. Yeah, we went backwards accidentally. All right, let's take a look here. So this is a level 37 and a level 40. Right here. You can hold up to 7 health potions now. This is the area they're in, the Quietest Gallery. It's a level 40 area here. Again, looks very, very cool. Though there were some things I felt like and I hope that they kind of fix this. Actually, it wasn't too bad. But there were some things where it was like, you'd be like coming through this door and you can't see anything in that room whatsoever because it's so blocked. And so sometimes I felt like I'd like be in a hall or be in an area and I had such bad vision of the actual fight that was going on. Because there'd be, you know, a bunch of stuff like hanging out here and you didn't get like a good look until all of a sudden, oh, there it all is. And now it's on top of you. So I noticed that there sometimes. Diablo 2 has it a little bit, but they also have cut off walls, which helps a lot, right? So if I'm... Let me fire up Diablo 2. Oh, we're still on Chinese version. All right. Diablo 2 Chinese. Yeah, I got to play in the demo piece there. So like if I go, for instance, I'll go right here. You can see like over wall a little bit here. So you at least get a look kind of at the landscape. And then you get kind of this like look in right here. You can see everything that's within this. Now it doesn't show you if there's monsters like right here or anything. But you get this look in at least where, okay, I can see all the way to like there, over to there. You know, you kind of get a decent look before you actually pass through. So stuff will still be hidden behind the wall, but you get kind of that better straight on look. And because you have the over the wall view, it helps a lot. Whereas here, you don't get that view at all. So even though this is an open door and you're going through on your vision to it, you get none of the actual vision whatsoever. This is all that you see. Like you're already in the room. I'm just saying this is something I noticed as I was playing the game. Was you're just... I'd be in a room or be entering into a room or whatever. And it was... You say nitpicking, but this happened multiple times, where I'd be in different dungeons, different areas, and there'd be so many things hanging and stuff in the way that didn't get out of my vision quite fast enough. And so I didn't, again, I can't see if there's a monster right here. There can literally be a monster right here, and I cannot see it until I'm already, boom, I'm on top of it. So, I mean, you can already see, you know, decent damages. Pace is a little slow in here right now, which, you know, I mean, I like slow paces and stuff. But I mean, again, if you're thinking, is this D2 or D3? I think it looks and feels still very much more of D3. Right. There's a lot of assets that have D3 feel, even in the way of, you know, just like how the numbers are, how the flashiness kind of is. I mean, you know. You know, kind of just all the... So the skill tree, we'll see if they have a thing for the skill tree. If not, we can show, because there was some stuff to show. So I'll show the skill tree in a minute. Yeah, the quest indicators, things like that. Like, a lot of that stuff still has the D3 feel style. Very loud combat effects right now, yeah. I mean, you can adjust all that stuff in game, so... And then there was a lot of, like... This door is locked. Go, like, find a way to unlock it kind of things. Why am I showing D3 footage? Looks very easy. Again, this is the journalist version that we were given. So the difficulty you have to assume is turned down. Now, if this is the difficulty that we're all gonna play around with, yes. It does kind of feel a bit easy in some capacity.
All I see is D3 but darker. Something we wanted before D3 even got released. I mean, why wait more than 10 years to give us something they could have done in a patch 10 years ago? D4, darker and fixed paragons. Seems like a patch notes in the forehead.
Yeah, there is still like the paragon board and stuff, so I mean, again, a lot of D3 pieces there. Look at the in-game time, 420 Blaze. Right, I mean, this is level 37 and 40, and yeah, it is hard to say. I mean, I think the big difference, because the combat does feel a little thicker than Diablo 3. Diablo 3, it feels very papery, I feel like, and here there is more weight in it. But I also felt like I could run through and face tank a lot of stuff and never use a healing potion, and it was fine. And that piece, again, journalist mode, you know, is right, the questions there and everything. But it's... And maybe it just has to do with, like, densities and things like that. Like, you say you can run through Diablo 2 and face take everything, but, like, you watch people just get mauled by, you know, Rakanishu in the stony field, or a pack of archers come by and just like tear you apart. You got a cold enchant pack, and all of a sudden nobody can even go up to the, you know, you're kiting all around. Like, there really is a lot of like movement and things like that. And yeah, as you get leveled up and in certain areas, you'll be able to kind of kill, you know, different things at different speeds and whatnot. But you know, there is right, you kind of need some gear and some things and even or specific builds or whatever to really kind of dominate. And here it feels like you can kind of dominate with a lot of things, or even if you're not dominating, the danger doesn't feel there as much. Again, this was a journalist demo that they gave us. What is the actual, you know, overall? Those are just Rayla skins. I don't have to say good things after bad things. I can say bad things too. I mean, the thing is, we don't have the full picture, so I'm trying to give, you know, my base understanding from a limited play. Where's the cash shop stuff? The cash shop is all for the cosmetic pieces. I do think the dodge mechanic's kind of fun. I do like that. Though for a speedrunning purpose, you're just constantly going to be dodging everywhere. But I do think it's interesting, kind of a fun thing. But again, even here, like in this fight, it's hard to see a little bit. This was something that I felt like there's no learning curve. It's too streamlined. I do think that is partially true. I do think there's not enough learning curve in the game, and even maps and certain things. I mean, there is the open world aspect, but when you get in like the barracks, there's a lot of very narrow passage, kind of D3. But like watching this fight, like your character, it can be really hard to kind of see who I am and where I am in this fight. You know? And they have kind of a smoky, disappearing, you know, ability thing there, but looks much better than these three, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think this HUD very much comes from the idea that this game is built for console and PC. And this is always something that I complain about, which is when you try and build a game for console and PC and try and make it perfect for both, and it's not built for one and then kind of like poured to the other, you end up with certain design functions that are, it's like it's not great on either one all the time, right? So I think that a little bit happens with this game in certain ways, such as maybe just like HUD and skills and all of this, versus, as well as maybe some targeting or some damage types or whatever things that, you get a little bit of. But some games are better on like a console, and then if they try and like have it also for the PC, it like makes it worse for console, so it's like I understand why there's cross-platform and all that stuff, but I do think it has a small detriment, right? Because they have to then kind of simplify the game more for console, right? Yeah, like I'd rather play Fall Guys on controller or console than, PC. I think the biggest problem for D4 is a lot of purists view D2 as the perfect game and narrow-minded as they are open to change. Well, first off, Diablo 2 is the perfect game. No, I think it's... I think you need to remove... If you're talking... Because I would probably fit into what you're assuming, right? I think you need to remove Diablo 2 from the equation. You can take Diablo 2 away completely, and there are still so many games from prior days, RPGs, ARPGs, whatever, that have better look, feel, systems, anything like that, right? Whether you're going into something like Diablo 1, which doesn't always hold up very well, but still has a lot of beautiful pieces to it, or you're going further, you're going to, what's the name of that game? Whatever. Or you go to like Dungeon Siege, or you're going to Nox, or you're going to old school RuneScape, or you're going to Titan Quest, right? I mean, again, it's like you can go back and there is just game after game after game that has this beauty and whatever, and Diablo 2 does it in such a great way, right? That's the thing. I love it. I love Diablo 2 because I think there's, it's so good. But even when I go into any of those other games, if I play, if I pick up Wolcen and then I pick up Dungeon Siege, when I play Wolcen, I don't feel inspired. I feel kind of the same, streamlined. Is this just another, like, whatever, ARPG, blah, blah, blah. When I pick up Dungeon Siege, I'm like, I want to play more of this game. And it's not just because it's an older game. I just like older game, whatever. It looks much worse, all that stuff. But there's just pieces in the mechanics and the way the games were built. They just have this beauty to them that, again, comes from a lot of small details. And one of them, as such, is you're not trying to build also a game for console players. So you're not going, we need to make it easy enough for a console player to be able to navigate and all of this stuff. Like, that stuff isn't built in there. If they took Dungeon Siege and tried to make it easy enough for a console player to play it, it would be a much worse game, and I probably wouldn't enjoy it in any capacity. D2R is great on console, but it's a PC game that was built for PC, and then they created a port for controller much later that is worse than PC, but still plays okay, right? I think that is a very big difference than right out the gate building it both ways. So, StarCraft 64, Jesus Christ. So it goes to kind of that piece. Again, take Diablo 2 out of your minds, because I think a lot of people think we're so stuck on D2 that it's like if nothing is D2 then it's bad. But I'm not thinking about this Diablo 4 game as in how it compares to D2. I mean, I am in some capacity. But I'm thinking about it into how those little details, how those things, whatever, compare to games, all games prior that I've loved and enjoyed and whatever stuff. And the ways that things, get butchered and lose some of their fun or lose some of whatever, you know. So it's like Diablo 4 has much greater like customization and looks way better, you know, in a general sense, right? And like details of things added in and whatever things. But again, the maps I feel are much worse in the game, or there's, you know, it's the console style build I think is right. There's just all that. I don't want them to make Diablo 4 Diablo 2. I want, if I had my perfect Diablo 4 game, because we just got D2R, I am happy, right? I love D2R, so I'm all set. But I would want Diablo 4 to mirror some of the great qualities of old school games, Diablo 2 included, but not be Diablo 2, the next version, whatever, right? Again, I'd want them to make Diablo 4 its own game, but look at Titan Quest versus Dungeon Siege versus Diablo 2 versus Diablo 1. Those are all 4 very different games, right? Versus Nox, like those games don't look and feel really similar at all, but they're all really good in their own way. So it's like, make a D4 that's just like a 6 game that is, or EverQuest, right? Like make it a game that would fall in line with all of those games, but is its own unique game. I think that's where my thoughts lie. I don't want D2 again. But just like I look at D2 and Dungeon Siege, I say those are both fantastic games that have similar ideas but are completely different. Right? So some of these pieces I think get lost in a lot of these newer games that we've seen, whether it's Undecember or it's D4 here, or it's PoE now, though I think PoE has a lot of good pieces. Obviously I do think it's gone too far and whatever, but I think there is a lot of like good underlying pieces still within Path of Exile. Or just insert Wolcen or Last Epoch or anything like that. I think a lot of the games nowadays kind of stem off that. You put them next to D3 and they kind of all fill the same idea, and they're all different games, but they all kind of are in that range. And I don't like that range of game design. That's my personal opinion. You can like it. That's totally fine. I don't like games in that range that fit next to D3, even if they're their own unique games that have that similar style, right? So I want D4 to not fit in that range. And I feel like it does fit more towards there. But I think it's within that range. I think it's better. Right? Like, I think it is decently cool within that range of what that D3 style is. I think there is some promise. I'll be interested to play further and see more. Dodge! Yeah, some of the text. Feel some of the combat wasn't when I was playing. Oh, they're not gonna let us finish that fight? Think the game is too dark? I think it's also a little too dark. Just from a pure I mean, like, again, like we say, just from a foggy. 4% more damage to incapacitated enemies helpful right now. Yeah. Well, remember, these are just like health potions. Like you have in Diablo 2 or any game where a health potion drops on the ground, except instead of picking it up and putting it in a belt and using it there or using it from inventory, it goes into just, you can carry up to 5 health potions. They just exist there, and you just push Q, and then you have a little cooldown on using it. Which is similar to how D3 is, but D3 had health globes there. Where here they had potions originally, yeah. 'Cause there's a party of 3. The loot is individual. I think we're a bit harsh to the game. A font or high walls don't make or break a game. I mean, a lot of little details do have a big impact on a game. Is there some nitpicking going on here? Of course. I think we're going to nitpick in all the ways that we can of every good, bad, whatever thing I see. I'm just going to mention in any capacity. And that doesn't mean, you know, I'm not saying because there's high walls, the game is trash. You know? It's just... I just am noting when I played, there were multiple times where I felt the high walls were invasion of my eyesight. And that's something to give to the devs and mention so that hopefully it gets changed a little so that there's a little bit better vision there or something, you know? I will mention, and even in like this capacity, constantly fighting like single monsters like this, I feel gets a little bland. Like that is something that I did like in, and I'm gonna say Diablo 2, sorry to say it, a lot more groupings, you know, even if there's just a group of plain Fallens hanging out together, or every time there's a boss group, you have the minions with the boss group, or, you know, kind of a little more of that piece. Whereas I feel like here a lot of times, even in like this, it's like I fight that skeleton, and I come here and I fight this skeleton. And I do feel like a lot of times the density felt, I just, it could be buffed in some capacity because, I don't know, I don't mind having single target, you know, like fights. But I guess those fights I want to have more meaning then or something to them. And maybe that comes just with, you know, another difficulty level or something. Yeah, and it's probably right in your end game you get that bigger density. The combat definitely has slowed down in pieces there for sure. Trading is only for rare items. So essentially you have rare items, and then the whole piece is you're extracting legendary powers and then putting those on like the best rare items you find. So once you've like done any of that, that's, you can't trade that anymore. So I think the trading will just revolve around trading the best rare item you can find that people are going to then put an extracted power on. So you're kind of like trading bases. I do wonder, I don't actually know, I do wonder if there is a trading right when you find like a legendary or something. If you're in a party with people, if you can do a trade then. I don't know. Oh, I'm against you there, Tucklands. I love trading. Also, bots exist in D3 and there's no trading, so... They don't have rune roots in the game right now. I think they removed them after they initially launched them. I don't think they've been brought back really. They were very basic in their implementation. But yeah, McSherry, thank you very much. They're adding runes soon again. They reworked it. Okay. Come in later. I mean, the town is gorgeous. I'm gonna say that for sure. Oh, that's the end of that video. Is that all the videos? Do we have another one? I don't know where someone heard that. That's just what they have said. This is footage.
Blessed are you who will die in the Mother's name.
Stranger, the holiest of welcome.
Thank you, Rex. I don't like ultimate abilities. Like this.
Who will die in the Mother's name.
So,
Stranger, the holiest of welcome.
like this right here. This is kind of an ultimate ability. I love ultimate abilities in PvP. I think PvP cooldowns are fantastic. Because your teammates, opponents have a mind and understand it. Right? And so building around that, if I have an ability that has, whether it's a 10-second cooldown or a 150-second cooldown, and Dota is a fabulous example of this, you understand it. If you attack me with a skill that has a 15-second cooldown, I know I have 15 seconds and you don't have any stuns left because that skill was your only stun. So I know, okay, I can dive in on you now because you don't have the stun, blah, blah, blah. If you have a skill that has a 2-minute cooldown but is amazing, I know when that is down, now we want to have this fight. Or if, whatever. Or I want to back off and not fight because I have to save it. Whatever, things like that. Right? In PvE, all the opponents are brain dead AI who don't understand that. And they're not going to punish you now because your cooldown is down or anything like that. So any cooldowns on spells are just, you just they just exist. There's no, okay, he can't stun me now, so now I can do this or that or anything like that. So I don't like having these big cooldown whatever spells on PvE, because then it feels like, all right, now you just kind of run around and wait for your cooldown to come and then you go in again, do the next thing. And so battles are kind of built more around that piece. Like, this is an awesome spell. And now it's a 60-second cooldown, and monsters don't know that. And it doesn't matter. It's like, alright, before I go to the next fight, I'll wait for that spell again if it's somewhere that it's going to be a little harder or something. find myself. If AI tracked cooldowns and took advantage of it, I would be so much more pro cooldown.
These effigies
Like 18-second cooldown for the first spell, 12-second cooldown for the second spell, 60-second cooldown for the third spell. That is the current cooldowns of this character that we see. Sorry, 20-second cooldown for the first spell, not 18. Yeah, I'm saying just don't put it in the game if it's that. Like I say, the third spell right there, I feel like doesn't have a great place in this kind of game. Because mashing every key nonstop without cooldown is also decision making. I mean, you say that, but if you watch me or someone go through there is a lot of decision making actually. Now, yes, you do ultimately have, I'm a Blizzard source, I use Blizzard. I'm a Poison Nova Necro, I use Poison Nova. But I mean, even in that capacity, there is, if I'm a Poison Nova Necro and I'm diving in, I'm swapping between teleporting, now I'm lower resisting on monsters, I'm casting Poison Nova, I'm corpse exploding, I'm amp damaging prior to the corpse explosion, so then I can swap it up and get the good corpse explosion damage. I'm, keeping my summons coming up, I'm keeping my bone armor on. You're kind of bouncing around and really using a variety of skills there. There are simpler characters, such as, again, the Blizz source. You can just telly, Blizz, telly, Blizz. You can also telly, Blizz, static, Frost Nova, or, I mean, not Frost Nova, you wouldn't really use that there. Glacial Spikes in between. You can use all these things. But, there is more of the, I am kind of thinking through. But yeah, and then you get some characters that do have it simpler. Lightning Fury's on, just goes pew, 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 just throws her javelin, and she's kind of a very simple, basic example of that. We charge strike sometimes, but for the most part, there's pros and cons to both sides. I just personally dislike a spell that blows up a whole screen, giant, whatever thing, and then has a 60-second cooldown in a PvE game.
Another lamb for the sacrifice.
No, you're not going to run into immunities. Immunities have very much fun out of style. Yeah, there is like, this monster has shock resistance and things like that. Game volume drowning me out. Yeah, it's loud.
Go. Run.
Even in D2R, immunities are going out of style. Yeah. I still love immunities. I can understand they're difficult, and a lot of people dislike that overall difficulty. And I can understand the 100% immunity being a little too far. But I do think a minor or an extreme resistance or whatever thing can be a really interesting piece that does, have that encouragement of not just being all cold and being able to kill every single thing. And I do think every single monster having an immunity is a bit much, maybe in D2. Yeah. Thank you.
I need time to prepare that.
Like, Torchlight 3 actually had this idea. And they kind of botched it. But they had an idea of different areas, right? So you'd have like, pretend this is like main town or something. And then over here was like poison area. Over here was the fire area. Over here was the cold area. Over here was the lightning area. And this is a small representation. I mean, obviously note that like this just, like continues on, right, in its own way, right? These go off to their own like sections kind of in a way. So, just note that is like, right, how it was. But the idea was really cool in the way of, if you wanted to go, you'd go to the fire area and then you'd get gear there that was helpful for then the poison area. And then in the poison area, you'd be fighting kind of different. And then the cold area, so it's like using gear that was good in the fire area and spells and things like that didn't work very well in the poison area. So you'd have to go get a different thing. The problem was they made you have a level for each area. So you could be like level 30 in the fire area, but then you were level 1 in the poison area. And so when you went over to the poison area, you then had to like kind of start over again in a way. It just didn't really flow very well like it needed to. I felt like that was something that actually kind of failed a little bit there, but I liked the idea overall of just Mega Man a little bit style and whatever. Just the idea of different areas having different styles of play, different gear needs, different spells, whatever that would help you in each of those areas. So I do think that's an interesting concept. Now, the way it kind of goes in D4, because a lot of people are like, oh, brain dead D2, you just use, same spell over and over again. But you kind of do that as well in Diablo 4 with just a slight addition of now you also have a couple cooldown spells. But that is something that I almost felt like it was a little too much in that way. Like in D2, you're kind of spamming, but at least you're choosing a little bit of what you're spamming. You can like spam this and then spam that and then whatever. But here you're kind of you're just gonna be using like just watch this character. So obviously it uses her ultimate ability there. But really you're just like spamming Ice Bolt kind of here. And I just felt like there were a lot of instances where, you know, all your stuff's on cooldown really quick, and then you have to wait 12 seconds for one, 60 for another, 20 for a third one, whatever. And this character isn't playing amazingly or any capacity, but you're really limited to just your builder and your spender. And so, you know, it was definitely a feel I felt like in the game was it's like, okay, I'm just build, spend, build, spend. And again, this person's not playing the character amazingly. I don't like you either. Said that many times. So, yeah. And I'm not trying to flood us with negativity or anything like that. Again, I'm nitpicking because I'm going to nitpick in these starter pieces. You know, that's you know, that just kind of how I'm going to go through. That's how I go through pretty much any game I go through. I nitpick in small things. And again, if there's something that I see that I really like, then I point that piece out as well. But here's where they can change little things like that. Right? We're still too unclear on endgame stuff. Let me look really fast at. Let me go back. Hold on. I don't want to like accidentally show something I shouldn't show. Oops. Okay, perfect. This will be good. So this is the skill tree, and the skill tree's it is interesting. Now, as there's more play and things like that, I'll be more curious how it feels and goes. But it is interesting in that you have kind of this. You have each of your spells, and then once you invest a certain number of points here, then you kind of move down to the next tree where you then unlock another spell. And then, of course, you have little passives that you can kind of unlock on the middle. And beyond each of the spells is additional boost to that. So as I was playing through, I always was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my next skill point, which I did like. I thought that was something that was actually really good. And so that, you know, like whenever you're thinking a lot about it, that's solid, right? So it's like, okay, if I take this passive right here, this passive might be, you know, 5% movement speed. This passive will be when you hit someone with flay, you have a 10% chance to make them bleed. This passive, you know, whatever. And then, of course, you can invest more points into Flay itself. And so, you know, it's like, okay, it'll do more damage, more bleeding. You know, it shows the next rank of it. You know, the impact damage goes up to that. The bleed damage goes up to that. And so you get a decent skill tree overall where you're constantly thinking, do I want to invest these points here and continue with these skills? Or do I want to move down and get into the next set of skills? Do I want to be jumping into passives? Do I want to be making the skills buffed out? I do think there is a lot of thought that I was putting into that, which I did like. So. And then here's another example, right? You like hit this tree, you spend enough points here, and then you move over to this tree, and then again, you're kind of looking at, do I want to go further there or not? So I think the skill tree is cool. That's probably one of my favorite parts so far. Initially, I wasn't sure about it, but yes, Key Barnes. But as I kind of went through more, I did enjoy, you know, always wondering where I wanted to put my next skill point. Let's take a look what else they got for us here in the images. This is just markings. It's a cool picture. So again, do I overall think this is Diablo 2's final true sequel? I do not. I don't think it fits in that realm, in that band of games. Diablo 2, Nox, you know, Dungeon Siege, Titan Quest, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it fits in that band. I think it fits more in the D3 band. I do enjoy it more than Diablo 3 from the bits and pieces that I've played. It feels like a darker, more polished Diablo 3. That looks way better just from, like, you know, visual standpoint. I mean, that's gorgeous right there. But I think there's still a lot of pieces that I shy away from, you know, that make me concerned. And until we're fully in it and playing through the game and all of this, I'm not going to have that full picture, right? I'm not going to have that full picture. The maps are kind of skinny, though, and things like that when you get in. Like, you know, there are pieces where I feel a little bit like it kind of feels like I'm burning time. I think that's the best way to say. I when I'm playing through, some of the fights and stuff can feel somewhat engaging. Some of it can feel kind of fun. But many of the times, or some of the other times, I should say, not many, but some of the other times, I feel like I'm just kind of being forced to burn time right now. And I don't like that feeling all the time. You know, I don't want to be thinking that. I want to just be thinking how much fun I'm having and lose track of time. Not, it feels like they put this in to just make me have to burn time to make the game longer. And that feels like it in some of the capacity. Not all of the game, though. Don't think that is my thoughts on the entirety of the game. Yeah, I'm going to upload this on YouTube. And here is your character, you know, kind of a screen right here when you're upgrading the item. And again, much more of a D3 look than a D2 look when we look at this, right? And you have your general attack, power, armor, life, kind of style, right? So, you know, this is the stuff where the UI, very generic, very, this'll be easy for a console player to navigate. And you're going to kind of go in, salvage everything, you know, kind of go through that. So if you love Diablo 3, you are going to love Diablo 4. I will tell you this much. I think it'll be really up your alley, and it'll be great there. If you love D2, I think there will be many things that you'll find don't fall in that band of what you enjoy in a game. But I think there's still plenty more to be figured out. And so plenty more to go and do. Right? I think I'm going to play through the game. And obviously when the beta comes, we'll do that. And then we're going to check further. At that point, how is it feeling? How is the end game feeling, right? They've got Paragon board now, which, you know, just around. They've got multiple end game systems that they were talking about. How is that feeling? Is that getting to a point where it is fun to play through and there is this chase for items and all of this, right? There's unique items that are supposed to be super rare. Are they actually really rare where chasing for it is really awesome? If yes, that makes me excited. I like having that chase. That was a huge letdown for me in D3 was I could find every single item in like a couple days, you know? And I was like, oh, that was it. And I'm just chasing for it with, you know, big strength on it. That's all. And everything was just big strength. So, you know, questions all around. Hope the chase isn't just more mats. Hope it's rares and legendaries. Yeah, I hope rares have cool chases as well and stuff. Exactly. And I think it's impossible to please everybody in the Diablo franchise because you have Diablo 3 and Diablo 2/Diablo 1. They're very different. They kind of branched off. And you have a core that really loves this side and a core that really loves this side. So again, if you're in the side that likes more of these modern ARPGs, I think Diablo 4 is going to fulfill your desires more. Plain and simple. How about Diablo 2.5 next? We got D2R. If you want Diablo 2.5, I'm building Llama RPG, and that is going to be Diablo 2.5. Or maybe like Diablo 0.5 or something. I mean, again, it's going to be hard. I'm trying to build it. But I'm trying to build it for the old school styles. Space Pen, thank you very much. Yeah, it's turn-based. Did monster fights feel challenging? Not in the monster fights sometimes felt kind of challenging, but not always in a great way. It was kind of hard to say. I would say more often than not, no. But again, we don't have the final hard version of the game. Did I die? I don't believe so. Yeah. So that's my Diablo 4 thoughts. Right there.